Hi, and welcome to the G3 boardroom. Today, it's just Dave and I. The other Jason is, well, he's over there. Today we're going to be doing a...
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there he is. Today we're going to be doing the setup and some rules, or the rules, for the Star Wars deck building game. One of our subscribers did contact us and say, hey, I was looking for the official how to play this game, and the one I found was way too long. So we're going to try to get this down under, say, what, an hour and a half, 90 minutes? Yeah, about 90 minutes.
There goes half the audience.
There goes half the audience. But hey, you know what? It's going to be a good time. So this is a Star Wars deck building game.
Yeah, look at that.
Star Wars deck building game.
You weren't lying.
I was not lying. So I do want to show you that right in the box right here. Even with the deck protectors on, there's enough space to do everything you need to do. You got the main deck in there. You got the...
And we know how you feel about deck protectors.
That's
and those
right.
who don't use it.
Those who don't use it primarily. But they give you enough space to do all the things that you need to do. So what you're going to do, you have a pile here with the starting cards for the Imperials. The starting cards for the Imperials are the Inquisitor.
How many of those?
There's one of those.
One Inquisitor.
There are 2 Stormtroopers. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Imperial shuttles. You're also going to have 10 planets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to take those, we're going to put them to the side for now. Okay, for the Rebel side, you got pretty much the same thing, except you got Rebel troopers instead of Stormtroopers. You got Alliance shuttles instead of Imperial shuttles. And you have the Temple Guardian as opposed to the Inquisitor. Again, you have 10 planets. Now I'm going to take that pile, I'm going to give it to my opponent, who's Dave. All right.
And you just handed me probably one of the best things all games offer, the turn sequence card.
Yeah, you must. It's just that it's an easy add, but I'm always so thankful when the turn sequence card is in there because it's just going to walk you right through it.
And look, they use both sides with a quick reference on the other side.
Well, there you go. It's genius. You're going to have a little bit baggie here. The baggie has a whole bunch of purple cubes, a whole bunch of yellow cubes, and one little bitty white cube. I'll take that white cube and set it aside with this fella here. This is the balance of the force meter. This is where the force is going to go. We're going to take it, put it on the table, and we're going to put the force right in the middle to start the game. All right.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. You're also going to have a pile of 10 of these guys, Outer Rim Pilot. Now, the thing about that, it's a neutral card, which means either Dave or I can recruit it. It's always going to be available to you, and it's going to be right there in what's going to be called Galaxy Row here in a minute. Dave, can you hand me that great big stack of cards?
I can.
I trust these cards have been sufficiently randomized.
I have them now.
All right, so we're going to take those. Inside this pile, you have Rebel cards, you have Imperial cards, and you have neutral cards. Rebel cards can be recruited by the Rebel person. Imperial cards can be recruited by the Imperial player. And the neutral cards can be recruited by either team. So we're going to go ahead. Got the pile out there. I'm just going to put 6 out.
And that's how you start the game?
That's how you get it set up.
Yep.
Now, we got a little bit of a thing going on here because the problem we're going to have is since Dave and I are both sitting on the same side of the table, what this game is designed to do is you have neutral cards, Rebel cards, Imperial cards, as I just stated. But I'm the Imperial player, so these Rebel cards would be upside down to me, and the Rebel player would traditionally sit right there. And so there's values on here that I can read that are what it would take for me to bounty hunt or destroy the cards in Galaxy Row and keep Dave from getting them. Now that's a pretty good card right there, because trust me, the Snowspeeder that makes you discard cards, it starts to become quite a burden for the Imperial player. So we're going to give your cards here a quick shuffle. So we're all set up there. Now we need to set up our planets.
Are we setting up for a beginner game or for a normal game?
Well, let's set up for the beginner game.
Okay.
So you're going to take out your starting card. My starting card being Lothal, which you should be familiar with from Star Wars Rebels. Dave's not familiar with it. He didn't watch Star Wars Rebels. Jay's familiar with it. He watched Star Wars Rebels. Okay, so we're going to use the beginner setup that's right in the game right here, right in the book. So Dave's going to have Dantooine, Hoth, Mon Cala, Sullust, and Yavin 4. I'm going to have Lothal, Corellia, Coruscant, Death Star, and Endor.
You get the Death Star?
I get the Death Star.
Wow. So I take my starting planets and give them a quick shuffle, correct?
Absolutely.
put those face down.
Put them face down underneath your starting card.
My
Now
starting
there's
plan.
room for a little bit of variation here, and in the back of the book it gives you a couple different variants you can do. When Dave and I and Jay play this game, what we like to do is just select our planets randomly. Why not? Because if you're allowed to pick the ones, you're only going to pick the powerful ones, and there's a whole bunch of stuff you're going to leave out. So we do ours randomly, and it's a hidden base thing anyway, so you don't quite know where it's going to be. It's thematic.
Thematic, yes.
All right, it's also important to note that in the Galaxy row here, the Rebel cards are red, the neutral cards have a gray, and the Imperial cards have a blue hue to them. So each turn, and take your cards, you're going to shuffle them up. Well, not each turn, but you're going to shuffle them up before you start. Get yourself a nice variety.
Our starting deck contains 10 cards, and we draw 5 to begin with.
Draw 5 to begin with. Now, I didn't tell Dave, but I already put Darth Vader in here. He is not a starting card. He's quite expensive, and I never seem to get to deploy him. So, I'm just going to lay my hand out here. The Imperial player always goes first. It's important to note. But I got a good mix here. So we're going to look at the Imperial Shuttle. The Imperial Shuttle has this symbol right here. It's a little box that is a supply. It's a supply you use to recruit.
And those are represented by the yellow cubes, correct?
By the yellow cubes. I have a Stormtrooper in here. He has 2 blaster, which means he's doing 2 damage. And that would be represented by purple. It's important to note that if you're damaging something in the Galaxy row, you have to be able to do the full damage to it. You can't do partial damage to things in the Galaxy row. You have to kill them all entirely or don't even bother. And then I actually drew my Inquisitor as well. Now it's important to read these cards and see what they do. These are starting cards. They don't do anything special, but the Inquisitor does. And this says, when you play the Inquisitor, choose. You gain 1 attack, 1 supply, or 1 force. And that's going to move the force up and down this track. And that gets you certain special abilities as well. I find that, you know, if you have the force in your favor, that's normally a good thing.
Yeah, usually triggers bonus stuff.
Yeah, it's always a good thing, actually. And when it gets all the way to the end of the track, you also get +1 supply at the beginning of your turn. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my stuff out here. And you also might want to check your planet and see if it gives you any bonuses. Now, this is the starting planet. It doesn't give you anything. It doesn't give you any special bonuses at all. It has 8 hit points there on the bottom. I'm going to show you exactly how this runs. So I have 2 recruiting here. I'm going to have 4 attacking. And I haven't decided what I want to do with my Inquisitor yet, but you can do these actions in any order. It actually says right here in turn sequence. You can do any of these things in any order that you want, as many times as you're able. Alright, so here I've got 2 Imperial Shuttles, 2 Stormtroopers. I got the Inquisitor, but I don't know what I want to do with them yet. It's important to note, it might seem a little bit elementary for people who have played a lot of deck builders and have a lot of supply,
That is
but
correct.
supplies in this game can get real confusing real fast. So put yourself in the habit of when you play them, you just go ahead and take your number of supplies that are equal to your supplies. Alright, so I've put my 2 supply out here. I've got 4 attack. I'm going to take 4 damage items, and I'm going to put that out there too. And I still don't know what I want to do with this guy. I think I'm going to use them actually to move the force. So we're going to play them in this order. When I play the Inquisitor, choose and gain 1 attack, 1 supply, or 1 force. I'm going to go ahead and move the force in my direction. I got my 2 supplies waiting here still. I've got 4 attack, but it's really like this. It's 2 and 2. It's important to note that it's 2 and 2. It's not necessarily 4. I'm going to take 2. I'm going to apply it to this vehicle here. It's a snow speeder. And when you destroy something in Galaxy Row, you get the reward up here. It says exile 1 card from my hand or discard pile. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put him in the Galaxy discard pile because I destroyed him. When he goes, a new card replaces it immediately. And there's Baze Malbus from Rogue One.
Now you attacked the Rebel card.
Mm-hmm.
It took 2 damage. You got the bonus, whatever it was.
Yep.
What was the bonus?
The bonus is I get to exile a card from my hand or discard pile.
Okay, but you have already played all your cards, so you wouldn't be able to exile any cards?
I've already played my cards for the value. It's important to know. It's a little bit of a rules thing in there. It's like I no longer have cards in my hand I don't have a discard pile. So I'm going to go ahead and forego this reward. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't want to handicap myself anyway right now and get rid of the card.
Okay.
I just want you to not have the snow speeder.
Understood. And then you can only attack rebel cards. You cannot attack neutral cards, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
There are certain cards that would allow you to attack a neutral card. I don't have any of those. I've just started. So I'm not attacking anything neutral. And you can't attack a capital ship except under certain circumstances as well.
Correct.
So even if you had a rebel capital ship, there ain't nothing I can do about it right now. So that 2 damage was used to destroy your snow speeder. I'm going to take this 2 damage and use it to kill. You know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to use it to kill the Y-Wing. But even though the Y-Wing only takes 1, I have to apply everything this guy has to take him out. I can't split the attack. So I apply all that damage, destroy the Y-Wing, which the reward for the Y-Wing is 1 supply.
Gather that to your resource pool.
Yep, don't forget, because it can get confusing.
Now,
you start spending, you start getting new stuff, and it can get out of control.
Now I'm noticing that you're tapping these cards. Is that to indicate that you've used them already?
That's for me to indicate that I've used them already. I'm not required to do so, but it's a force of habit from a previous game of some kind, which won't be mentioned here today. And
it's almost like it's a magical effect.
You know, when you gather to play a game, that's when the magic happens. I've killed something in Galaxy Row.
Gets
I'm going to
replaced
go ahead and
immediately.
replace it. It's a neutral card. Great. So now I have 3 resources. I'm going to look from my shopping list of goodies here, and I'm going to take the Fang Fighter. The Fang Fighter says, when you purchase this unit, add it to your hand, draw 1 card if the force is with you. So I'm going to take it, play it here, I get to draw a card. Fantastic. Well, let's spend my resources. Spend them all. I got another one to play. It gives me 1, doesn't do me any good. Card is left Galaxy Row, we replace it. Boy, Dave, that helped Dave out real nice.
No, you still have a card out there that you could purchase for 1 if you wanted to.
I do. But now I also have 3 attack. And I don't like this guy. So I'm going to kill him too. Wait, I played him. Let's put the 3 cubes out there just to make sure. And I'll apply the 3 cubes here and get rid of the Rebel Commando. When I get rid of Rebel Commando, it says gain 2 force. I'm going to go ahead and move it over here. Spend my items. Replace the card, and then I have 1 left. I'm going to go ahead and buy a Jawa Scavenger. When you buy a card, it goes into discard pile. Blop. And then I'll replace this with another neutral card. And that is going to be it for my turn. You collect everything you have, it goes into your discard pile. Any leftover attack or supply that you have goes back and you lose as well. If you have any capital ships, those stay in play. That's the end of my turn. Go ahead, Dave. I draw 5 new cards. I apologize. I got 4 here, so I'm going to shuffle up while you take your turn. I'll get my 5th card.
So it's use it or lose it for attack and resources.
Absolutely.
And normally when you're playing a 2-player game, neutral cards are usually placed sideways to indicate that they are truly neutral cards.
Right.
But
since we're on the same side of the table, doesn't look quite right.
All right, very well. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I have drawn 5 cards on my deck. I'm going to play my cards similar to Jason. I have 2 Rebel Troopers. Give me a total of 4 attack. 2 for this guy. 2 for this guy. I also have 1, 2, 3 Alliance Shuttles, giving me a total of 3 resources, 1 each. Just like that. And as Jason mentioned, you could play your cards and use your attack in any way you want, in any order you want as well. Unfortunately, there are no Empire cards out here for me to attack. All right. So when there are no options to attack in the Galaxy Row, do not fret. You still have another option. You could always attack the other player's base.
Right.
And his current base is located on Lawful. So I'm going to go ahead and put all 4 of my damage on that base. Now, unlike Galaxy Row cards, this can take partial damage. I don't have to do all 8 to defeat it. I can build up damage until I reach or meet or exceed that number, then that base is defeated. So that was my attack. That option's done, so I will go ahead and tap my cards.
No.
Is that trademarked?
I think it is, actually.
And And then I have a total of 3 resources left. I'm going to use 2 to pick up Bay's Malbus.
From Rogue One. Great movie. See that.
Okay. And his special ability is he gains an extra attack for each rebel base in your opponent's victory pile. Right now that's 0. And then that gets replaced immediately with a bounty hunter that apparently has no name.
A not Greedo.
And then I have 1 resource that I can either use or lose. I'm going ahead and use it and pick up this Z95 Headhunter. Again, when you play this card, it has a special ability that you could read when you're playing the game. That goes in my discard pile immediately. I gather up all my played cards. And my turn is done. I draw back up the 5 cards.
Now that's how you play through this game, and it really is just that simple. But I'm going to do one more thing here real fast, just so everybody understands how exactly this works. Now, Dave, if you wouldn't mind getting out your 2 attack cards one more time here.
I would gladly attack you over and over again.
Over and over again. So now, this time what we're going to do is assume that I had purchased this capital ship on the previous turn. On the turn when I actually draw it, I can put it in play. Now the capital ships don't leave play. The rest of your cards leave play, your resources go away, all that stuff doesn't. It goes away. Capital ships remain out there because they serve as defense for your home base. So this time, which by the way, also it's important to look, this card would also give me an attack and a resource. But since it's Dave's turn in this hypothetical scenario,
correct.
Now when Dave goes to attack,
I'm going to go ahead and apply all 4 damage to the capital ship. Because what happens here is if I wanted to apply it to the base, I couldn't. The capital ship acts almost like a wall, a shield.
Dude's on patrol.
So you must attack any and all capital ships in play before you can attack the base itself.
And if there are multiple ships, who gets to choose where the damage goes?
The attacker.
The attacker.
The attacker
right.
chooses.
The attacker gets to choose where the damage goes.
Which makes common sense. I get to choose where I'm pointing my lasers, not
exactly. you. So in this case, Dave would have applied enough damage to destroy the capital ship, which would go right into the discard pile there.
Which again is important because it'll allow you to possibly shuffle up, draw that card, and put it right back in play.
Okay, so that's really it for the setup and the how to play, except for a couple different things here. Now, how you're going to win is you're going to have to deplete your opponent's pile of planets. Now, as these planets appear, let's say Dave were to destroy Lothal by applying 8 damage to it, it goes into Dave's victory pile, and at the beginning of my next turn, I get to choose the next planet in a row and immediately do the on-reveal effect. This is Coruscant, which says, when your turn begins, look at the top 2 cards of the Galaxy deck. Place one on top of the deck and discard the other one. So this will give me a special ability to look in here. And all the planets do have some different abilities. They're all worth checking out. There are some equivalencies between the two, and then there's some unique ones as well. I've got the Death Star in here too, which does some really neat stuff.
Yes, it does. No spoilers.
No spoilers. You'll find out because you'll enjoy it too.
And 2 key terms when you attack, or the term correct is when you use your Bounty Hunter ability to take out Empire or Rebel cards from the Galaxy row. They go in a discard pile, which can be used later on if you have a Jawa Scavenger or other abilities that allow you to pull from the discard pile.
Right.
While you also have, what's called the Inquisitor, I have the Temple Guardian. Other cards allow you to exile cards.
Yes.
Which is different.
That means take them out, get them out of your deck.
Completely out of the game.
Like most deck builders, the original stuff that you start with eventually becomes burdensome. You know, it starts to really bog down your deck. So you want to cycle those cards out as quickly as you can.
Correct.
This game should really take no more than 30 to 45 minutes. I think that's about how, you know, for the experienced player or for people like us, it takes a good hour and a half.
I'm thinking more like 15, but...
Well, I think on the box it says 30 to 45, but it is a quick game, and it really isn't, it's very, very nice and smooth.
Yep, and the first player to destroy all the bases wins immediately, correct?
Immediately. Yeah. Victory is theirs. Well, I hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, do let us know. If you just want to play us, let us know that too. Until next time, If you liked what you saw or you learned anything, click the like button, click that subscribe button, give us some support.